We're only a few hours away from lock. My hands are calloused from tinkering with my shell. I am, of course, the cash game king. Normally on these airwaves, there'll be some GPP bullshit, but today it's out in front of the paywall, and I am joined by a fellow cash game king, none other than Davis Maddock from the Gilcast, who I will be squaring off against in a high-stakes head-to-head. Davis, how are you feeling on such a momentous morning?
Well, given that I think you and your Tilt Space buddies are going to make like the number one mistake you can make on this slate, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
So Davis is, of course, referencing the dynamic that is tearing apart Cash Game Nation right now. There's good people on both sides. Jalen Hurts, who projects better for Josh Allen, no matter how you slice it. And then there's those bros who are scared about Jalen Hurts resting. What else are you guys scared about, Davis?
Well, it's actually not so much the resting. Like, I mean, Jalen Hurts has gotten to 25, 26 in the first half plenty of times. But the concern would be the Eagles they for sure want to win this game, but the Giants are fielding a non-competitive team. And we've seen what happens with, we literally saw it yesterday with the Chiefs, right? They were just having a laugh, dude. They were playing games. It was not a serious football game. And that seems problematic to me when a huge chunk of Jalen Hurts' projection is going to come from rushing.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is this has almost been the same dynamic that the Eagles have had all year, where they blow teams out and then they run the ball at the end. I guess you could say instead of like Jalen Hurts being on the field in the fourth quarter, that he might just actually hit the bench. But like the Eagles are dropping 30 today. It's just how are they doing it?
I would be more concerned that the 1-yard touchdowns that Jalen Hurts has gotten all year long, I would assign those like a 15% probability of happening today, considering that what he is dealing with is a shoulder sprain.
It's going to be a very interesting dynamic when we flip over the cards here, because basically all the projection systems, unless they're going to adjust, with news in the next hour or so, have Hurts projected
way
significantly
ahead.
better than Allen.
I've got Hurts like 6 points better.
Yeah. So this is like an ultimate IKB situation. You also have to pay an extra 200 more to get up to Josh Allen. But let's not belabor that one too much. I do think I feel like one of the toughest decisions this week in cash is the mid-tier wide receiver. Like, everyone loves Shaheed. People like Diggs and Chase. But in this mid-tier, it's kind of gross.
I mean, you got like London in there, but a lot of people are playing Algier. So then you get yourself into the situation of playing 2 Atlanta Falcons, although they are playing against the Buccaneers backups. I would say that situation is probably pretty important to figure out, because to me, the teams, the 2 teams that always decide what happens in week 18 are, one, the Giants, which is the team who rests everyone. And then you got to figure out if any of those dudes are playable. And then the team that hasn't had anything to play for in a month, but randomly scores 30 points in week 18 ends up being a huge part of it. So you got London, you have Garrett Wilson, who I don't know, probably is like, would probably prefer Joe Flacco of the 3 quarterbacks they have to be starting for Garrett Wilson. So that seems pretty tough to figure out as well. And then there also is the Shaheed versus Dortch thing, because we all love Greg Dortch,
I think you love Greg Dortch more than everyone. How
many
targets did he have last week? 10? 10
I think he literally had 10 targets and caught like 2 of them. Yeah.
And price didn't come up that much. I mean, he was the Stone Min last week? Now he's 3,800. I was very bummed. My boy, Jacoby Myers, he was the free square on Friday. I'm a little spooked, man. Questionable all week. Never like having a Q tag in your cash game shell. It just doesn't feel too good.
Did I just hear Jacoby Myers free square?
He was on Friday, Leone. The slate's been flipped on its head after an injury report came out, so we're adjusting the shell right now.
Every week, Leone just projects Tutu Atwell for like 7 more points than he's like combined for in his entire career. So I'm surprised Leone is not progressing the Tutu and cash agenda.
Oh, dude, I got Tutu in my blend optimal that I play against Levitan.
I know. I ran it this morning and I saw Tutu in flex and I thought that was pretty interesting.
Real quick
Skilling,
here,
baby.
some housekeeping stuff. I appreciate you guys continuing to send me head-to-heads. I am sold out at the $5 level. Davis, you're still in the market for some head-to-heads, right?
Yeah, I'm sold out at. So if you send me a $1, a $2, or a $3, I can't accept that. But 5s and 10s, you can still send me.
There you go. Leone, would you like to receive any cash game action from the audience? I know the Titans lost last night.
Okay. I don't want cash. You want to send me some free head-to-heads? Like we can.
Do not send
Leone, I was thinking of you and Drew that entire game. I was like, I can't believe these donkeys might run good on their bet with Josh freaking Dobbs. And then,
dude, it was a good bet at the time. But
I think that Kevin Cole tweeted this out that was the single biggest win probability shift play of the year. The Josh Dobbs fumble 6.
Oh my god, dude! I was like so close to getting in a good hedge, like at that point too.
I was gonna say, did you guys consider, like, did you have a cash out or anything available?
No, dude, it flipped so bad so quickly because that week the Cowboys blew like a 17-point lead to the Jaguars, and then the Chargers beat the Titans by 3 at the end, and Tannehill gets hurt, and like it shifted. Anyways, no one gives a shit about that.
What's up, boys?
Welcome, Joe. Welcome, Joe. Also, the people need their coffee. Pour 1 second.
Wow, Davis, where's your team?
What do you mean?
Showing for the Tilt Space boys here on the Cram. We're putting in the work today.
Oh, Sammy is in the Western. He's in California, so he is not awake. And Nate works on Sunday mornings, which is so it never ceases to blow my mind that this dude literally on Sundays goes from working to grinding and tilting DFS for 8 hours at a time. It's unbelievable.
Matt wants to know highest head-to-head. I've received a handful of 109s. No one has kicked up the stakes higher.
I got a 215, but then when I went to go join it, the other guy had backed out. He had unregistered from the contest.
Davis, I wasn't joking. I almost accepted an FA Cup head-to-head in just robot mode this morning, not paying attention. I would have been so.
Well, you get saved by that because you just click import lineup or whatever, and then when you go in to click import lineup, there wouldn't have been anything there.
Well, here's the thing. I like to raw dog it. My bad.
So I forget this. This is our biggest disagreement in our friendship.
Entries?
Peter and. We got in a big argument about this on stream. Who was the other reserver? I don't remember what it was, but I am not a reserve without line. Because just imagine,
I can't even look at it without getting like massive anxiety. Like,
yeah,
it's so
I can't.
Bad.
It's
the
bad.
only time I do. The only time I do reserve without a lineup is when I'm just crown grinding. Like I need to get the achievements done, and I need to remember to enter the slate. So like. I have one entry in the PGA final round late slate showdown today, just so I don't forget to put guys in there.
What was the main argument though, Pete? Like you actually get a notification to your phone if
you get a notification,
and it just freaks me out.
So I will tell you, it is also less clicks. Reserving as opposed to importing and then submitting is 2 clicks. So I'm actually, it's kind of like a life hack. Ultimately, what I'm doing, and with all of this extra time, I got in a workout this morning.
Should write a
Just
thread
do
about
that now until the one time you like export your lineups and realize that it doesn't export to reserved entries.
So here's the thing, though, for me, is that I've got burned by this because most of the time when I would be reserving for a slate, it would be reserving for soccer. But you reserve for soccer and the lineups for those games come out an hour before, but the notification actually pushes like 64 minutes before. So you get the notification, you go in, and you don't know who's playing in the game. So you close out, and then you don't get a notification at all, and then you forget, and then you just, your lineup is dead. So I've been burnt by this too many times.
We need the custom notifications so you get them at the right time. That's the play.
Yeah. Will says Pete was on some bullshit on his Friday show, booting people, hoping he doesn't today. Will, if you want to fuck around and find out, we can. I expect you to keep it locked in tight in the chat, and I will have no problem booting people today. That's for sure. Hoka, welcome to the show. Normally you and I are getting together on the Tilt Space airwaves. How are you feeling? I know you are notoriously a GPP bro. Are you feeling like you're in the right cash game mindset heading into week 18?
I was a little bit lost with 90% of the conversation you guys were having in our chat this morning, just because I guess I'm just a glutton for punishment. I'm still playing GPPs today. I will not be in the cash game streets outside of this lineup that we're building as a group. So yeah, I'm happy to defer to you guys for the majority of that stuff because I don't know. I can't do both like some of you other people out there that can just play cash games and GPPs effectively. It just seems like a completely different game
effectively is one word to use there, Holka.
Well, I mean,
sometimes
I don't know how your season's going, Davis, but mine has not been so hot. So maybe I should try to switch something.
This is going to be like one of my first losing gambling years in my life.
Just talking about that.
Really, I really hate to see it.
Barring some crazy playoff run here in DFS, like this is going to be my first losing year, and I think since I started doing this, like actually, like seriously. So that's kind of sad.
Yeah. I think it's my second, but first in a few years.
Thank God for Prize Picks, man. It's been soft as hell all year. That's the only reason I'm not crying right now.
I am crying.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our hands in the dirt here. Davis, what defense is in your cash shell right now? Because I feel like there's lots of different ways you can go at defense this week.
I have the Jets right now, but I actually don't even think they're optimal. We need clarity. We need clarity.
300 to get to the
so here's the thing. I need someone else to game this out. What is the scenario in which the Chargers are going to care about this game? Isn't it like if
that's it?
Okay. So that's not going to happen. All right. So then the Broncos are probably the best defense then. So I think you should try to get to the Broncos.
I just am here to get into your head, really, more than anything else. You know, I've heard Michael, you like a little scared to play Jalen Hurts, which is just hysterical because he's going to run for like 102 and maybe throw for 300.
I would be very surprised if he ran for a touchdown today.
I will be very disappointed if we flip over the cards and Nate Nolan didn't force you guys to play Brandon Cooks in the Gilcast head-to-head.
There's no chance. If he is coming to the table with Brandon Cooks, I'm going to be like, you guys are paying for this team. I cannot be associated with Brandon Cooks.
Nate Nolan, though, is going to have final say because he's the one actually submitting it.
He is the one actually submitting.
Coming over the top.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon Cooks is not even a top 20 value in this slate. There's no chance.
What is going to be the quintessential Sammy alpha play that he brings to the table that you guys will say
he is going to want to play two of these dusty wide receivers instead of a running back and flex to get Chase and Diggs. Or the other thing that could happen is these two guys could gang up on me and try to play Christian McCaffrey.
Oh man.
Will, I told you to fuck around and find out, and you just found out. You're blocked.
That's been my thing in 2023. I'm done muting people. Anyone who annoys me, even like 10%, block.
I said those words, dude. Your life gets so much better when you realize.
I'm not dealing with it, dude. Yeah, no, in 2023, I'm not dealing with it.
I spent actually like a half an hour of my time turning all my mutes into blocks, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
That was the best thing you ever did?
Like pretty close, man. It's that life-changing.
Michael Leone, Kenneth Walker, free square or free square?
Kenneth Walker's the biggest free square, right? Of the week?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Someone would maybe argue Jonathan Williams, but that person probably didn't play Brian. That person probably didn't play Brian Robinson in cash last week to get his 28 touches for 8 DraftKings points.
I've gotten a lot wrong this year, and I have not made any money. But that Brian Robinson game went exactly. I said it was going to go.
It was pretty brutal watching Carson Wentz like spread eagle his body over the goal line instead of giving the ball to Brian Robinson.
I couldn't agree more with Sean here in the chat. This week is turning into a prove it type of slate. It certainly feels that way to me. I'm just going to play the best plays, and I'm going to make my opponents do the same. And, reading some of these comments in the chat, I'm not really convinced that these guys can play the best plays. I have a confession. When we're looking at tight ends there's lots of plays being floated around there. Freiermuth seems pretty popular. I know some people are even willing to go down a little lower to the 2,900 range. You got Jelani Woods, there's a
$2,900 tight end whose coach said he looked pretty good last week.
But can I say something? It just between all of us, just like I just have to confess, I did do a deep dive into Colby Parkinson earlier. I just want to put that out there. If you need that's your
GPP brain bro coming into play here, bro. That's your galaxy brain. Drafting playoff mittens. The synapses are too busy.
Disley's on IR. Noah Fant is a figment of the imagination. I mean, someone poke holes in this Colby.
You could have given me 15 guesses on what team Colby Parkinson plays for, and I can guarantee you I would have gotten it wrong.
Well, that's spoken like someone who hasn't been doing Seattle double stacks all. Oh wow!
Kidding me? I have to fact check this. If
Peter,
Colby Parkinson's birthday, I'm playing him.
Does he have any contract incentives? We need to bring Levitan on to see if he's got any contract incentives.
Oh my fucking god. January 8th. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I mean, I'm jamming. I'm absolutely jamming. 24 years old, January. Leone, how do you bake this into the model? I mean,
you can't. It's so impactful that the model can't handle it.
You can't have like a little button that's like plus 5% on someone's birthday, bro.
Dude, you got to get all the stats to balance out the rest of the team. You can't just plus 5% someone like that.
That button is called Adam Levitan, just continually poking Leone to manually adjust the
move him to a 9.5% target share, Leone.
The ETR dynamic is not Adam poking me to change the projection. It's Adam IK Bean and then Wiggins saying, if Adam's IK Bean, you have to change the projection. So it's like a triangle.
How does that work? Wiggins tells you that is it. So it's basically Silva and Levitan and Wiggins being like, Leone, your fucking spreadsheet is stupid. Make it say what I want it to say.
No, it's not quite like that. Adam's like, don't change the projection. People need to use context and like not be slave to the projections. And then, so it's a fun dynamic though. Everybody's having a great time.
Everyone's having a great time.
I love this message from Sammy, who all due respect to Pat McAfee, but Indy fucking blows. I love you making sure that you're not ruffling Pat's feathers.
I'm playing a little bit of Z-Moss as well in tournaments, which we don't talk about.
No, don't say that word around here. Holka, who's your favorite cash game play on the slate? Like when you triple wrap your dick with a thick old condom, who's the player that feels so good to stuff into that lineup?
Oh, it has to be Kenneth Walker, right? Anyone else, you shouldn't be on this show right now.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. What about this? Because this one's near and dear to your heart. I feel like, of course, as a former Minnesota Viking, Steph Diggs versus Jamar Chase. Obviously, Chase more, but do you have a preference there?
I'm Team Diggs today, which shouldn't be surprising to anyone. I do have some biases there, and I think it's very, very, very close. But I'd be shocked if Diggs doesn't get into the end zone at least once today. He's the guy. I think that if you needed the extra salary, which is meaningful, I think at certain positions today, like I'm probably just going to die on that hill in GPPs as well.
Davis, if the non-Hurts bros are playing Allen, are these cash game grinders going to be willing to stack up Josh Allen and Diggs in their head-to-heads? I mean, to take on the variance of that correlated stack seems ballsy to me.
That's why I like Hurts a little bit more. Or that's why I like Allen a little bit more, is because that you have that natural pairing in there. I like to induce a little bit of variance, because when you're having a bad year, closing it out on a full sweep is pretty good. Or if not, I'm in a good tax liability hole to start the year.
It's always nice.
I object to so many things you just said. One, you said you're playing scared because you've been losing. Two, you say you want to approach this cash game.
Oh, I haven't been losing in cash. I'm gonna be fine in cash, but cash is such a small percentage of the overall dollars that I put out there to speculate on.
You're not gonna be fine in cash if you're fucking running out stacks against me. I'll tell you that much, buddy.
You're gonna be fine in cash if you're fading the highest ceiling player on the entire slate in a game that they absolutely have to win.
Hey, what if the inputs are a little bit volatile, Leone? Have you thought about that? Have you thought that the inputs have you? Have you? Because it sounds like maybe you haven't.
Let's talk about some of
Good
the. I mean, we haven't talked about Tyler Algier. Free square adjacent. Or
No,
free square adjacent?
that's the play that you make because you know everyone else is making it, but it turns into 17 carries, 57 yards, 0 receptions, 0 touchdowns, and you're like, yeah, makes sense.
Speaking of someone not doing their homework, the rookie Falcons rushing record, he needs at least 100 yards. So I don't know where you're getting 57 yards from.
Who's the owner of that record? Steven Jackson?
No, it's somebody random, dude. Let me see if I can find it.
Is there an actual contract incentive there? Or is it just a record?
I hate I'm not going to answer that because of the condescension that was implied.
I wasn't. I'm just asking questions. I'm just a lifelong learner trying to learn right now.
I don't like the juxtaposition as a rookie record as being less than.
I mean, Leone, how much are you guys, baking these, contract incentives and motivations into the projections? Like, do you have a little button for like +5 for contract incentive or?
William Andrews in 1979 ran for 1,023 yards.
I talk about a chip on his shoulder. Tyler Algier has a poster of William Andrews up in the locker room today. Bulletin board material right there.
William
in all seriousness,
Andrews.
you can shift volume just like a little bit here and there for like common sense stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish Tyler Algier. That's just the sort of play that feels bad to make. Like I'm gonna make it, but it doesn't feel good.
Algier versus Miles Sanders feels pretty close to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Joe,
what about either of these Arizona running backs, Ingram or Clement?
I can't, man.
We're only allowed to talk about cash, right?
Well, here's
Are they
the
not
thing.
playing the Niners? Did the game get changed or something, Davis?
But back in the day, Peter, this is before your time. The running back floor on DraftKings.
Hey, if we're objecting to condescension, then I object to the start of that sentence.
Before your time in these cash game streets, running back floor used to be 3,000 instead of 4,000. And there was this fella by the name of Dwayne Washington, who actually still plays for the Saints, who would start for them in week 18 every single year. And he would always do jack shit. And this is the Corey Clement play where he's going to start. He's going to be in there. And if he was 3,000, I probably would have played him. But 4,000, you can't do it.
Yeah, I love that 24-year-old Davis Maddock is talking to me like I'm 12 years old and I don't remember who Dwayne Washington is. Come on, Davis. I'm fake young, remember?
It's true.
Holka, do you want your username up here on the screen to receive head-to-head invites? Leone has declined.
I wasn't planning on making a cash game lineup, but sure.
What?
Let's do it.
All right.
He doesn't celebrate cash game week.
It's like Husky Hockey
649. Use Huskies. If Nate gets his username changed, can I get mine changed as well? I've been trying to change it to Joe Holka for like 7 years, and they just will not do it.
You just gotta embrace it, man.
There was a time when they offered like carte blanche, like you can do this, you can get one name change, and apparently people didn't take advantage of it. Whereas
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just had the foresight 15 years ago to just make my name my name. And
we're done with the condescension. We're still doing it.
Well, here's the thing. Soccer Dave used to make fun of me. He'd be like, "Why is your DK and FanDuel username just your name?" And now everyone's like, "I don't want to be known by this dipshit idea I had when I was in college. I just want it to be my name."
Yeah. My username, which I thought was so normal. I remember doing an interview on RG with Dan Bach, like way back in the day. And he's like, "What's this username? Leonem?" And it's Leone M, which is my last name, first initial, which I thought was like a really kind of standard thing. And
well, Leone, this was back in the day where people treated their DFS account like they were playing on like full tilt or whatever. They wanted to be like Time X or Isildur _1 or whatever. Like it was before people realized that was not like GTO.
But I just remember being thrown by the question. I was like, it's my last name, first initial, isn't that like
you know who has the funniest DraftKings name? Drewby. Drewby's Drewby's is DFS teams.
Yeah.
You won the Hockey Live final.
Yeah, I was just
and
gonna say, I remember
it's
from the
like
hockey one.
DFS teams.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's like the Washington football team name of DFS handles.
Oh, God.
I had my one-time name change on FanDuel. I was revert Z top on both sites. And then I started a podcast, and Holka, you get this, your branding starts kicking in.
Love
I
it.
said, what if I requested it to be the FF Comedy Hour _ Pete?
Oh.
FanDuel was like, no problem, bud. But that's your one.
I had the same opportunity on FanDuel, and that was when I was like really trying to get just changed to my name. And FanDuel said yes. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go to DraftKings, make sure I can get it on both sites. So I had so much like OCD about like, can it be the same on both sites, that I could just be Joe Holka on FanDuel, but I'm not because I'm just too soft. So.
Dude, we do have to talk about this Nate thing. Like, I thought it was a joke when you guys were
Nope.
messing around in the
No,
DMs.
Can't find him.
You can't find him.
Well,
Challenge to the chat.
through-
If someone can go and send Nate Noling a screenshot, his username is Nate in. Send us a screenshot of you being able to find his name on DraftKings. It's literally impossible.
So there
went to
is
send him an
actually a
invite.
workaround, by the way. You have to add Nate as a friend. You have to go to like DK's like social portal, and if you add him as a friend, it's easier to send him games.
I
This
was able
social
to send
portal
it-
stuff is just bullshit. I'm not here to make friends with any of you guys.
I was able to put in his email address, but yeah, I put in Nate N, and I literally scrolled through like over 100 usernames, and it wouldn't let me scroll further. So it wasn't like just buried; it was not possible to find it. It was.
It's just
insane.
because it's such a basic name. Like, explain this to me. Like,
I don't know how their autofill algorithm works, but when you type in Nate N, all these iterations of Nate N and other stuff come up. And
Yeah, it's like you
Nate
type in
N
Nate
doesn't.
N, and then like there are like 9,000 accounts on DraftKings that start with those 5 letters. So
oh
you
my
just
God,
can't
that's
find him.
awful.
When I did it, my account got drained, and I ended up with a bunch of trolls in my Polygon account. So I don't know what's going on the back end over there. Let's see here. What are some other interesting decision points here? Leone, do you have a need for Shaheed this week?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're not playing Shaheed, you
Send you a
don't know
head-to-head.
what you're doing.
Send Leone a dead if you don't have Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah,
What about Leone playing? Because Chris Olave popping in some spots as well. Can you play Olave and Shaheed together?
well, we're trying to decorrelate here in these head-to-heads to increase our median outcome. No, I
No joke.
don't know. I actually kind of think they're fine together, but I'd probably not play them together. But I don't know. Sometimes with the two teammate thing, like if you're really worried the offense as a whole is gonna suck, I get not doing it. But then it's like, oh, I can't play Shaheed and Olave together, and then you play one of them, and the other guy goes off, and it's like you would have just been fine if you played both of them.
Played
even if
both
one
of them.
sucked.
Yeah, like I wouldn't play Gary Brightwell and Richie James together today, but I would probably play Gary Brightwell.
Gary Brightwell is not on the cash radar for me, so I don't know why he's being discussed on these airwaves right now. I mean, that's so far out of left field on this slate.
I got to go wake and rake, but Davis, think about fading Jalen Hurts. It's unbelievable.
I've thought about it, and I feel pretty good with it. If like if that's the coin flip we're making, I feel like I got it in good.
All right. Leone is going to go Galaxy Brain. We're going to have to do some therapy and prayer for him after this show. Holka, rank these teammate pairings who could potentially be used in cash today. Alan Diggs, Tyler Algier, Drake London, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and let's do an off-the-wall one. Let's say Kenneth Walker and DK Metcalf. Actually, Kenneth Walker and Colby Parkinson, sorry.
I'm somewhat confused by the question because there's so much salary difference between these. You're just saying, like, what am I more likely to have in a cash game lineup?
I'm just trying to have a conversation with my cash game friends, just kind of chop it up. Really, I wouldn't read too much into it.
Well, I mean, first off, you're throwing too many big words at me, and because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect. But honestly, I think I'm just going to die on the Alan Diggs hill today and live with the result. That's how I feel about that. But if we're ranking them, that would be my number one. What was it? So Algier and London, and then Metcalf and Walker.
Walker and Colby Parkinson, who, I mean, Parkinson, man, in some of these cash game chats I'm in, getting major steam after this birthday narrative leaked.
Yeah, that's a big like shift this morning, right? Like if there was going to be steam in cash games, like that would be the thing that would push him over the edge, right? Like imagine playing Albert O over Parkinson at that point after we get that name. Like
On Colby Parkinson's birthday, bro.
right, you know what I mean? Like I feel like at that point we definitely uncovered some stuff on this cram, which feels good. You know what I mean? Like I think we're providing like a really nice service for people. All that said, I think that I probably would feel a little bit better about the Algier and London combination in cash games.
Yeah.
Just feels so safe, right? Like if you feel good about putting those guys in your lineup. I think that at that point you feel pretty good about your Kenneth Walker one-off. But like I said, if I was to build a cash game lineup this morning, it's probably going to be identical to our tilt space lineups because I would never do 2 lineups in cash. I wouldn't feel great about that. You know what I mean? Just like hedging my own cash game build with the tilt space cash game build. So whatever hill we're going to die on is probably what we're going to do.
I mean, sometimes you got to do it, man. Sometimes you gotta hedge it out.
Yeah, Davis, have you considered running 2 lineups today?
If I keep getting games, maybe. I don't know. Might have to.
Wow,
If I got like $2,700 worth of games or something, I would maybe think about running 1 Hertz team, 1 Allen team or something. But I don't think we'll get there. So I will just live and die. I'm honestly surprised that Leone is not trying to like jam Josh Allen based on like this big Bills narrative. You know, they gotta win for DeMar.
You're wondering why robotic Leone is not letting his fandom override the machinery? No way, man. This guy's dialed in.
I guess you're right. He is. He's locked in.
Who do you think, Davis, is going to be your guys' biggest disagreement or decision point when you guys huddle for the Gilcast build?
Tight end, just like whatever tight end Sammy wants to play, whatever tight end Nate is going to have some, you know, he's going to want to play like Dallas Goedert or something. Like Nate is going to want to do something extremely ridiculous with tight end.
What do you think of, because right now, I believe in the Blitz Optimal, Mark Andrews is the one that's showing up the most right now.
No. The Ravens are resting Dobbins, and they might not even play Tyler Huntley. They might stick Anthony Brown in there. So I think they're saying, let's just go ahead and limp into the playoffs as meekly as possible. We don't even really deserve to be here, and just try and not get banged up today.
Well, take it up with Cardi, Michael. I don't know what to say to you.
Thank you very much for all the invites for all the people out there.
Are you getting them? Are they rolling in for you?
I like this.
Good.
I'm going to even reserve some GPPs for this team instead of importing a lineup. Like I'm living dangerously today.
Dude,
I'm more likely to do that than play 2 cash game teams today. That's for sure.
Just got another 109. Thank you, GX. Let's see here. Other decision points. Alex, I saw you just sent me a $10. I think I posted this in the chat. I am now sold out at $10. So if you sent me
how rich, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see how Jalen Hurts does today before we say how rich I actually am.
I honestly can't believe that you have these calluses on your hand and you are not opening your eyes to the fact that Jalen Hurts is like legit. There is a chance that he generates no rushing touchdowns today. I'm worried. I'm praying for you, dude.
Man, you know, it's really an interesting dynamic for the Cash Bros who are slaves to the projections, the numbers, the values, and the IKB, hand in the dirt. And on top of it, not only are you IKBing what's going on with Hurts, but you're going against the Buffalo Bills narrative today, which Bills by a million, right? I mean, it's there's a lot going on here, and I'm going to have to meditate on this when this show ends here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the Bills by a million. Like I'm not really that worried about Devin Singletary being the reason that the Bills are winning by a million.
Let's see here. Another guy we haven't talked about today, Davis. What is the first thing that comes to mind when I say the words Najee Harris?
Plug your nose and dive in. He is Pete. Najee Harris is actually the luxury sedan version of the Tyler Algier play, where you actually might even get 3 receptions out of him in addition to his 17 carries for 57 yards. You know,
I'm legitimately confused how you guys enjoy these type of decisions every week. This is a nightmare.
Holka. This is like the Bruce Banner line. It's like the secret is we actually don't. The secret is that actually every Sunday is just terrible.
I'm having the time of my life. What do with on the Algier front, and I guess London too? Like, what do we think we're getting from the Bucks today? Where are they on the motivation scale from 1 to 10,000?
0. They have absolutely no reason to be playing at all today. I think Pete, plug your ears, but I think a pretty interesting 1% owned tournament play today is Keyshawn Vaughn, because I think the Bucks are going to say that all their dudes are starting, but obviously they're not going to play.
I assume you just said something about tournaments, but
Yeah.
I will redact that. Holka, I'm trying to think here. Other in this mid-tier wide receiver is a little tough with my shell. It's been a very fluid situation after Shaheed, Olave, Garrett Wilson, my guy Jacoby Myers on the injury report. I mean, is there anything else you like here in the mid-range?
I mean, it's probably just the Drake London stuff at that point.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get weird with some of these Denver guys, I could see that, but that's probably more of like a GPP play, right? We're not running out Cortland Sutton and Cash, I don't think, under any scenario today, are we?
I am hearing some of the ETR bros are on Sutton, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of Sutton. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Here's the scenario in which the Denver guys become good plays is if the Chargers rest everybody.
Right.
They're going in with zero motivation, all backups. And it's Broncos country. Let's ride. They got to do it for.
Doesn't the optimal coach, it's gonna have you pay down for like a Greg Dortch in that slot instead, right? Like you just got to like take that salary, move it around. I last ran the blended optimal like an hour ago. Here, let me find it.
It better be the blended floor optimal.
Why does this Tutu Atwell stuff pop all the time?
That was who was in it. I'm trying to scroll up and find it right now.
So much money on those over. That's like consistently. That's what ruins my prize picks every week.
The blended median optimal was Hurts, Algier, Walker, Shaheed, London, Chase, Dallas Goedert, Atwell in the Eagles defense, which to be honest is a bad team, and I would not be playing it. But that is what is out there in the ether.
I just got my first 109. Thank you very much. Keep them coming.
There you go, Holka. This is actually the perfect question for you, Holka, because we haven't mentioned this guy's name yet. And I do think it's an interesting dynamic on this slate that no one's excited to pay up for CMC and Justin Jefferson. As a resident Vikings fan, what do you think about this spot for Jefferson? Are they not going to risk it? Will they actually try to push him to get this yardage record? Because people are not talking about him in cash much now.
I mean, the fact that people think I'm a Vikings fan is completely absurd. Like,
you
I
love
get to
the
watch
Vikings,
my Cardinals.
You love your fiance.
Week.
You go to the games.
I wear a Cardinals jersey on Tilt Space every single week, yet you still chirp me about being a Vikings fan.
No, you're like Davis, who roots for the Cowboys and Chiefs. You have two teams that you love. It's fine. Anyways, speak on Justin Jefferson.
I mean, I saw firsthand last week, my first time ever at Lambeau, just how frustrated Justin Jefferson was in that game. So I still think that he's squarely in play in the conversation. Maybe not cash, but I'm gonna have a ton of Jefferson if his ownership is gonna tick down a little bit. CMC, I don't think he's in the cash game conversation, but again, this is new waters for me, and I'm gonna keep saying dumb things because the dumber things I say, the more invites I get. So yeah, I think that's my current feel. Is CMC in the cash game conversation? Because he's not on my board today.
I don't think he is.
I think some people will just find they have so much salary. They might choose to play him over Chase or Diggs or whoever, but okay. I'm not doing it.
Davis, what % of the cash field in the $25 massive double up do you think will have both Chase Diggs on their roster?
Both of them sub 10%. Yeah. So we're 20 minutes away from inactives. If we get one team that we don't know of right now that's saying, fuck it, no one's playing, and we got one running back active or we got 4 wide receivers active, and or what? Like if there's the Bills, can't do this year, but the Bills used to be the king of this, where they'd roll up to week 18 and be like, all right, we're going with Matt Barkley, Duke Williams, Robert Foster, and Tywan Jones, and that's it. That's all we got. And you'd have to play like 2 of those guys, basically.
What do you guys think about the slate if Dalvin's
it would truly be flipped. Like right now it's all the way vertical. It would be 180 degrees.
Oh my goodness. Puck drop. I will block you. I've already blocked one person there. Thank you for at least redacting that curse word. in the chat. But this is cash game week, and anyone playing any other formats is a donkey, an adult, and a rube.
Man, the invites are rolling in now. The Jizz Nation is getting after it this morning.
Clay Dog, thank you very much.
So if Alexander Madison opens up at 5,100, then it's what? Algier Walker and Madison.
Open your third eye, dude. Kene and Wangu, bro.
Jesus.
Oh wow, the cash game pivot. Okay.
Well, what would be the point of resting Dalvin and then using your guy who's going to play 20% of the snaps in the playoffs? Like, wouldn't you just go to the other dude? That's normally what these teams do.
You tell me, Holka. You're the guy who bleeds purple.
You're
yellow.
in the Vikings organization, dude. You literally are in the parking lot.
You literally probably
go
go to Vikings Christmas parties. Like you
Can't
get
confirm.
mail.
I've been to
You
a
get
Vikings
mail
Christmas
from
party.
the Vikings with the letterhead from the Minnesota Vikings. You receive that mail.
I forget your question.
It was how they would deploy their running backs if Dalvin Cook was inactive.
I mean, is it really that? Like, there's no way we're talking about either of these guys in cash outside of Madison, right?
What if they say Cook is out, Madison's active because you have to have 48 guys active on game day, but Nwangu's starting?
Still Madison.
Hang on. Here's a legit question, because the Vikings defense is going to be very popular in cash games. If they're talking about resting players, I know Nathan Peterman sucks, but how motivated?
Still doesn't matter. I mean, Nate, I would play 7-on-7 high school flag football defense against.
Can we
Nathan
get a
Peterman.
first quarter pick six line? Can anyone send me a link to where I can take that? Because I would.
There you go. Send Joe head-to-heads and first quarter pick six lines. Let's wrap this up by going around and revealing one thing about our shell that makes us uncomfortable.
It's right, Drake London right now. I mean, Drake London is live for 14 targets, 60K points.
Look at that. Holka, something that makes you feel uncomfortable about your shell right now?
Well, currently stacking Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, which the cash game grinders are telling me is
Josh Allen just walked into the stadium in a number 3 Damar Hamlin sweatshirt and a number 3 Damar Hamlin hat, bro. Come on. You got this is look, I'm telling you, dude, people listening to this, bro. These guys are not robots, man. These guys are not sometimes you got to know better than the spreadsheets, and the spreadsheets don't know that the Bills are scoring 50 points today.
Lord, give me strength. Give me strength, guys. The reason I have to wrap up this show, look, am I here to provide valuable information to you guys? Absolutely. Am I willing to be an open book and share with you guys? Of course. But sometimes you've accepted thousands of dollars in head-to-heads and really need to go pray and look at projections and find God. Okay, so these are things you guys can look forward to. I know the Gilcast boys are going to be recording their lineup build sesh here in a little bit. I'm sure that'll be out on the podcast feed. And then what, Davis, do we want to do a simulcast video version of the Gilcast later tonight?
Yeah, we'll do it right when the games end, like 6:30-ish Central Time.
Yep. And obviously Holka and Leone can swing by if they want to talk about the tilt space head-to-head. And then I will be chopping it up with the Gilcast boys. It's week 18. Any other final thoughts here, Joe and Davis?
That's all I got. Stacking cash.
Fading a generational Josh Allen narrative to play Jalen Hurts with a sprained shoulder. Have fun staying poor.
We're going to go pray. We'll talk to you guys later.